Welcome to Totally Unbiased Premier League Season Review. I'm just going to go through every single club in alphabetical order and give my opinion on the grade that their season ranks. Like and subscribe. If I upset you with my ranking or grading of your season, then just cope, I guess. I don't know, don't get too offended, but you can comment below. But yeah, we're going to start at the top of the list with AFC Bournemouth. You know, this is actually really hard to rank this season because by their standards, would it be good? Like, they had some fun times this season, some good victories against some good sides, and they went on a little bit of an FA Cup run, but ultimately they kind of missed out on their dreams. You know, they missed out on the FA Cup final, they missed out on Europe, and they're losing some of their best players in the summer. So how do you rank that as a season? I personally would say that they had a pretty good season. You know, for the first ranking, I think we're going to have to put them at a solid B grade. They had a good season by their standards. A season they can be proud of. B grade. Arsenal, the club that I am totally not biased towards. Look, I've seen a lot of shit throughout supporting Arsenal, and this season, it was a write-off, okay? And I think that a lot of the times, maybe Arsenal fans overreacted just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit with referees. Other than that, you know, injuries, no trophies, and rivals doing well, I would say that this Arsenal season is probably D ranking. It was, you got to look at it from two perspectives. If you look at it from an outside view, you know, you got second place and you had a bunch of injuries and stuff. That's not a bad turnover. But if you look at it from an Arsenal perspective, second, third year in a row, no trophies, Spurs breaking their trophy drought, Chelsea winning a trophy. So I'm going to go D grade. It can only get better. Aston Villa, holy bottle. Like, they had an FA Cup semi-final, which they lost. They had a Champions League quarter-final, which they almost won against PSG, who are probably winning right now. I think they were 2-0 up when I checked. So they had a decent run in Europe. They had a good cup run, but they bottled it in the semis. They're going to kill me for this, but you did kind of bottle it against Manchester United. And I know there was that dodgy decision, but what the fuck is Emi Martinez doing? Like, I'm sorry. Go 1-0 down. Don't take a red card. It's Manchester United. You can get that goal back. Honestly, if you've got to factor in everything, I think they'll be really disappointed with how the season's gone. You know, Europa League next season. I'm sure they will be happy about their Champions League performances. They were really good in that, but I don't know what to rank. This one's tough. But then you can't factor in that Emery's done a good job to get them Europe. I'm going to say it's actually really hard. They had that really good end to the season. They've won 19 games and 10 losses. That's pretty good. C+. I was hovering between C and B, so C+ for Aston Villa. Could have had so much more. They were so close to getting that perfect season, you know, A grade season. Slipped to a B, missed out on Champions League, C+. Brentford Football Club, Brentford. They are next. I don't know my alphabet. It was kind of embarrassing. Brentford. So they finished right bang in the middle, 10th position. But I would say they had a fun season. Again, a bit like Bournemouth. They didn't really get much. And Bournemouth got 20 fucking goals. Okay, that's insane. So they had the most goals scored at their ground. So, you know, for entertainment value, they were pretty good. I'm going to give them a C grade because they had a good season. They didn't have anything special, but I would be happy if I was a Brentford fan. Now, next up, Brighton and Hove Albion. What do they do? Can anyone tell me of one Brighton game that you remember? I don't know. I can't even... They were just there. Like, how did they finish 8th and no one spoke about them? Am I wrong? Did anyone actually notice them? Like, I mean, great season, but again, you didn't get Europe. That's kind of an ambition for Brighton. C again? C grade? Nothing of note. Chelsea. Interesting one. You actually have to say, if you look at this from a Chelsea perspective, they kind of achieved all their goals this season. You know, they got Champions League, they won the Conference League, and yeah, they maybe could have done better in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, but if you look at it from like what their actual goals were for this season, Champions League and winning the Conference League, that's a pretty good turnover. I kind of want to say A, you know, I mean, it didn't feel like they had a good season. After January, they were like shit, but like they managed to grind out enough results to keep them in the top 4, so yeah, they got a trophy as well. Can't fault that. It might not be the greatest trophy in the world, but it's a trophy at the end of the day, so yeah, I'm going to stick with with the A grade, you know. Crystal Palace, the club that everybody mocked for just finishing 12th, and you'll be shocked to hear this, but they finished 12th. But no, there's more. They had a really good season because they won their first ever major trophy. You can say all you want about Palace always finishing 12th, but they've got silverware now. They're happy. They've got Mateta scoring goals for fun. I know it's 12th, but winning a trophy, beating Man City in a cup final, that's A grade. Palace, well done. Round of applause. Everybody wanted you to win that cup final. Well done, Palace. Great trophy. And now you can finish 12th and no one can bother you. Everton, they finished one position lower than Palace. Yeah, kind of just existed. They had obviously that very sad season, farewell to their Goodison Park. That's quite sad. I guess if you rank it, you can rank their season in two ways. Before Moyes came back and after Moyes came back. If you ranked before Moyes, fucking F tier, let's be real. But if you rank them after Moyes came in, I would say they'd be pretty content, probably a B. Overall, I'd say their season was B. They didn't really get thrown into the relegation battle because the teams down there were just shite. Maybe that's promising for next season. They had a few good moments, a few, like Tarkowski equalised. I mean, that's the level we're at. We're talking about draws here, but B, they had a pretty solid season. Fulham. I'm pretty sure, did they get their highest ever points tally? So that's kind of good. Again, a bit like Everton, they just did okay. They did better than they would have expected. I want to say, C. They could have had a bit more this season, maybe. I don't know, maybe they had a few They started the season off really strongly, and then they kind of, faltered a bit near the end. C, is that fair for Fulham? I know it's their highest points tally, and Fulham fans, feel free to prove me wrong, but I'm going to put your ranking as a season as C because you didn't really do anything else. You just had a decent season. Ipswich Town. I mean, lads, your literal memorable moment was probably beating Tottenham, and everybody did that this season. F, can't really complain. You literally got relegated. 22 points. F. Sorry, I've literally got nothing else to say. You're getting an F. Leicester City, another F. You won 2 games. No, fuck this. No, you're getting an F. I'm sorry. I just remembered you guys went X amount of games without scoring a goal at home. You're getting an F. I know you had a few good results near the end of the season, but you're getting a fucking F. Fair play to Jamie Vardy getting that. What was it? 500 games, 200 goals. Fairs, decent. That's your highlight of the season. And probably beating Tottenham. Liverpool. Okay, this is fucking boring. A, you won the fucking league, knocked out the Champions League, the FA Cup by fucking Plymouth. That's embarrassing. So yeah, A grade for Liverpool. Woohoo! Manchester City. They had, by their standards, an awful season. The only thing that didn't make this a literal E performance from them is the fact that they secured Champions League for next season. They lost a cup final against, no offence, Palace. That was their one chance of saving this season. Yeah, they got Champions League, and that was probably never really in doubt. They crashed out of the Champions League in the round of 16 playoff thing because they were that shit in the group stage. They're getting a D. They're getting a D. D season, honestly. Yeah, you got Champions League, but you put 200 million in January. That's literally the only reason you did it. So, Manchester United, fucking hell. I don't fucking know. The United fans, genuinely, how do you cope with this? I thought we had it bad a few years ago as an Arsenal fan, but how? I'm shocked you finished 15th. Wait till we get onto the bigger joke later on, but you lost the Europa League final to Tottenham Hotspur, a team that never wins fucking trophies. You just broke every joke we could ever make against them. Your only highlight is Bruno fucking Fernandes, who's probably going to leave in the summer. Your manager is coping hard. You sacked your other manager, who was shite. I see on Twitter that you guys want to be signing all these Champions League level players. You are fucking 15th and you were just lost to some random team in Malaysia who don't even play with each other. Garnacho is literally knocking on the door saying, fucking let me out. I'm hearing names like Gyökeres in your transfer line. That's not fucking happening. You guys are going to sign you've signed Cunha. Okay, decent. Prem experience. Take that U-grade season and fuck off. Newcastle United. You gotta give them an A, haven't you? I don't like them. I'm sorry to Newcastle fans. It's that guy on, what's it called, Pitchside or whatever? That podcast with Tom Garrett and Theo Baker and Reeve. That Lewis guy on there, I bloody hate Newcastle because of him. I hate him, but I can't lie, you lads have had a good season, okay? You broke your trophy drought. Carabao Cup, beating Liverpool. You secured Champions League football on the last day despite losing at home to Everton. And you've got a pretty good team. And you're looking to build it pretty strong in the summer now. And you're probably going to keep Isak. So you annoy the fuck out of me, but you're getting an A grade. Great season. Nottingham Forest are next. You've got to look at this logically. They were 17th last season and now they're 7th. They did bottle it, didn't they? They drew at home to Leicester. They lost to Everton. All in the UCL running. If they had got even Europa League, I would have put them at an A grade. They got a FA Cup semi-final. They were in the top 4 for so long and then they just kind of bottled it. They lost it and they ended up with Conference League football, which, don't get me wrong, I'm sure they would have took at the start of the season. And they might win that more. They needed 2 points to get Champions League football. They just had to win on the last day of the season against Chelsea and they would have leapfrogged Chelsea. So I'm going to have to give them a B grade. I know that's quite high given the fact that they've got Conference League, and to a lot of teams that might not seem like much of an achievement. But when you factor in the fact that they were literally 17th for avoiding relegation last season, you got to give it to them. They've had a stellar season. Southampton, 12 points. 12 points. One more than Derby. Minus 60 goal difference. You scored 26 goals this season. I'm sorry, I'm reading the Premier League table. You have 2 wins. Just take the U and leave. Get out. Don't come back, please. Tottenham Hotspur, next. Now, this is so funny because it depends who you ask on where you regard their season. 17th in the Premier League, and they're playing Champions League football because they won the Europa League. I don't know how you rank this season. They lost 22 games. 22. That is only 2 less than Ipswich. But you kind of got to rate it in a way because they got a trophy. They've wanted that for 17 years. Like, they took the would you win a trophy and get relegated conversation a bit too literally, didn't they? But fair play to Ange and his aura farming. I guess B. So funny putting a team in 17th with a B grade. But they won a trophy. That's all they cared about. They could have happily got relegated and I think they'd still be happy. Like, I don't know what to think of them. If they have a good season next season, it's wraps for Arsenal if we do nothing. B grade. Enjoy your Champions League next season. Fuck knows how you're going to cope. West Ham United. D. Again, just... They were flirting at the bottom, but they weren't bad enough to go down. They beat Arsenal, didn't do anything else. And finally, Wolverhampton Wanderers somehow finished below Man United. They did have a bad start with Gary O'Neill, but when they brought their new guy in, class. And they're kind of on the beach, I guess, once they realised that they were probably going to finish above Tottenham Hotspur and weren't going to get relegated, so see. They survived, they weren't dragged into relegation despite being down there for a bit at the start, and they probably will be okay next season because the 3 that are coming up will probably go back down. That's my rankings. Stay mad if I upset you. If you're happy and you agree, then let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Sorry if I look really red, I'm really fucking sunburnt, and good luck to Sunderland, Leeds and Burnley. Fucking Burnley about, but hand me the 20th place, I'll see you next season.